What are some of the best clean energy ETFs to invest in 2021? In this video, I'll be sharing with you some of the more popular clean energy ETFs, the criteria that I take a look at when analyzing clean energy ETFs. Actually, I use this set of criteria to take a look at any ETF, regardless of their industry, so not only for clean energy ETFs. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you that criteria. And the last thing that I'll be sharing with you is the best clean energy ETF to buy, in my opinion. Why buy clean energy ETF? Because the future belongs to clean energy. With global warming and climate change, more and more countries are implementing and enforcing clean energy practices in their own economies. So if countries are pivoting to clean energy, this means that there is huge long-term growth potential for the clean energy sector. This article by Investor Daily mentions the huge investment potential in the clean energy sector, and if we take a look at another article, it mentions that green energy as the next growth propeller. And the Texas blackout, which impacted millions of people, highlights that alternative energy is on ascendance as fossil fuel mainstays are losing the confidence of investors. There are many more articles such as this. One thing is clear, there are macro tailwinds for the clean energy sector. Therefore, the long-term trends are with clean energy. If you want to have a pie in this trend, you need to invest in the sector. Be it in individual clean energy stocks or clean energy ETFs, you need to be in the sector. So say you are unsure of which clean energy stock to take a look at or to invest in. Don't worry, you don't have to miss out, because you can invest in clean energy ETFs. And that is what we'll be taking a look at in this video. Okay, before we take a look and compare the different clean energy ETFs, these are some things to look out for when choosing ETFs to invest in. It is not specific to clean energy ETFs. This set of criteria can be applied to any ETFs. While there are definitely a few things to look out for when investing in ETFs, the two main criteria that I take a look at are assets under management or AUM, and the second, expense ratio. Assets under management or AUM is defined as the total market value of the investments that a person or entity manages on behalf of clients. In general, the higher the AUM, the better. Because the higher the AUM, the greater the liquidity and the lower the spreads of the ETF. In other words, this means that an ETF with a higher AUM or assets under management, the greater your ability to buy or sell shares at a price closer to your target price. And that's the first thing that you want to look out for in an ETF. You want the ETF to have a high AUM. The second criteria to look out for in an ETF is the ETF's expense ratio. The expense ratio, also sometimes known as the management expense ratio, measures how much of a fund's assets are used for administrative and other operating expenses. For the expense ratio, the lower the ETF's expense ratio, the better, because this means that you'll be paying lower fees. Alright, so these are the two things to look out for when investing in any ETFs. So for this video, we are taking a look at specifically the clean energy ETF. Take note of these two criteria because we'll be comparing the different clean energy ETFs based on their assets under management and their expense ratio. And from there, we'll determine which is the best clean energy ETF to buy. So the two criteria are assets under management and expense ratio. For the assets under management, the higher the AUM, the better. And for expense ratio, the lower the expense ratio, the better. The first clean energy ETF that we will be taking a look at is the iShares Global Clean Energy ETF, which is issued by BlackRock. Its ticker symbol is ICLN. For the ICLN, it has assets under management of $5.34 billion. And for its expense ratio, it is at 0.46%. The next clean energy ETF that we'll be taking a look at is Invesco's Wilderhill Clean Energy ETF, and it is issued by Invesco. Its ticker symbol is PBW, and it has assets under management of $2.58 billion, and it has an expense ratio of 0.7%. The third clean energy ETF that we'll be taking a look at is First Trust NASDAQ Clean Edge Green Energy Index Fund. That's a mouthful, and this ETF is issued by First Trust. Its ticker symbol is QCLN, and it has assets under management of $2.7 billion and an expense ratio of 0.6%. For the fourth clean energy ETF, it is called the ALPS Clean Energy ETF and is issued by SS&C. Its ticker symbol is ACES, and it has assets under management of $970.53 million, and its expense ratio is 0.55%. These are some of the better and more well-known clean energy ETFs. So right now, we'll be taking a look at a comparison between these four clean energy ETFs. We have talked about quite a lot of numbers before, so I decided to put them all under a table. And this is a pretty neat table for us to compare the numbers of these clean energy ETFs. To do a quick recap, the first clean energy ETF that we took a look at is ICLN, and it has assets under management of $5.34 billion and an expense ratio of 0.46%. The next one that we take a look at is PBW, which has assets under management of $2.58 billion and an expense ratio of 0.7%. The next one that we took a look at is QCLN, and it has assets under management of $2.7 billion and an expense ratio of 0.6%. And the last one was ACES, which has assets under management of $970.53 million with an expense ratio of 0.55%. Do you guys remember the two criteria to take a look at when investing in ETFs? The two are assets under management and expense ratio. And for assets under management, the higher the assets under management, the better. And for expense ratio, the lower the expense ratio, the better. So doing a quick comparison, which is the best clean energy ETF based on these two criteria? The best clean energy ETF for us to invest in is the ICLN. Right, because it ticks the two criteria. The first being the assets under management and the second being the expense ratio. So if we take a look at the assets under management, ICLN has the highest asset under management. And that's the first thing we want to look out for in our ETF. Because the higher the AUM, the greater the liquidity and the lower the spreads for our prices that we buy and sell at. So ICLN fulfills the first criteria. For the second criteria, we want to take a look at expense ratio. And for expense ratio, the lower the expense ratio, the better. Because this means that we are paying lower fees. And if we compare the 4 clean energy ETFs, ICLN has the lowest expense ratio. And so ICLN also ticked the second box. As of the filming of this video, the stock price of ICLN is currently at $25.31. So if you decide to invest in ICLN, this is how you search for ICLN on your price chart. For this example, I'm using TradingView. So what I will do is click on this search box over here and key in ICLN ticker symbol. And you'll be taken to the ICLN price chart. And from there, based on the trading platform that you use, you can enter your buy order to invest in ICLN. So hopefully you have enjoyed this clean energy ETF analysis, and this video has helped you to determine which is the best clean energy ETF for you to invest in. If you have learned something, smash the like button because it will really help the channel grow and allow me to produce more content such as this. And the more likes and engagement that I get on this video, the more likely YouTube will push up my video. If you are new to this channel and haven't already subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe to this channel because each week I release new videos about investing, trading and the stock market. I'll see you in those other videos to your financial success.